What is the impact of a tax deduction in our simple tax system? So let's say you make $100. Remember, the first 50 is never taxed. The second 50 would be taxed at the 50% rate, so you're going to pay $25 in tax total. Now, let's say that of that $100 you make, you decide to spend $10 in a way that the government favors. Perhaps you spend that $10 as a charitable contribution, or you spend that $10 paying mortgage interest on your home. So the government says, yeah, we want to encourage that behavior. That's a good way to spend $10. Then you're going to get a tax deduction for that $10. So how does that enter into the payment of your taxes? Well, now you have to compute your taxable income. You made $100, but 10 of that you spent in a special way, which is tax deductible. So your taxable income is only $90. So the first 50 is still tax-free. Now the second 40 is taxed at the 50% rate. So you're going to pay tax of $20. So you see here that the tax deduction of $10 reduces your income taxes from $25 initially to $20 after you subtract the tax deduction. Again, what are tax deductions? They are expenditures by individuals that the government favors for charitable contributions, for investing in your IRA or your 401k plan, for paying interest on your home mortgage. There are also business tax deductions. If I have a business and I make $100, but then I use $10 of that to pay wages to my employees, or pay electricity on my building, or pay property taxes on my building. Any legitimate business expense, that's also a tax deduction. So there are really two kinds of tax deductions. Tax deductions, legitimate business expenses, and tax deductions, spending by individuals that the government wants to encourage. Charitable contributions, 401k investments, payment of interest on the mortgage of your home. And we see that what a tax deduction does is reduces your taxes. Now you say, well, that's great. I should get the largest mortgage and pay the most interest that I possibly can because I'll get all these tax deductions. No. Let's be careful here. In order to get this $10 tax deduction, I had to spend $10 on my home mortgage interest. Or I had to spend $10 donated to a charity. So that $10 is gone. Yes, the pain is eased a little bit by the fact that I now get to reduce the taxes that I pay to the government by $5, but there's still a cost. I spent $10 for charity or whatever else in order to save $5 in taxes. So you got to make sure still that you want to spend the $10, but the government is easing the pain by giving you a deduction for that $10. So that's a tax deduction. How about a tax credit? What's the difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit? Well, let's go back to our same example. You make $100. In our system, the first 50 you pay no tax. The second 50 you pay the rate of 50%, so you're going to pay $25 tax. Great. Now let's say that you spend 10 of those dollars in a very favored way according to the government. Maybe you spent the $10 increasing the energy efficiency of your home. You put solar panels on your roof. You did something that the government really wants to encourage. In this case, they're going to give you a tax credit. Again, this is determined by the government through a governmental process. We're going to give you a $10 tax credit. So how's that different from a tax deduction? Well, you compute your tax. You pay no tax on the first $50. You pay a rate of 50% on that second $50, so you pay $25 in tax. But the government says, if it's a tax credit, you spent that money so well. You spent it just the same way we would have. So what we're going to say is you can reduce that directly from your taxes. You owe us $25 in taxes, just reduce that $10, that tax credit, so you only have to pay us $15. This is evidence that the government really approves of the way that you spent that $10. I've reduced my tax directly by the whole $10 tax credit. So which is better, a tax deduction or a tax credit? Well, we see that the $10 tax credit in this case reduces my income taxes from $25 down to $15. That same $10, if it's a tax deduction, reduces my taxes only from $25 down to $20. Tax deduction reduces my taxes by $5. Tax credit reduces my taxes by $10. So if somebody gives you your choice, do you want a $10 tax deduction or a $10 tax credit? You show them how wise you are. You take the tax credit.